Hello, everyone, and welcome to a live Mid Rainbow. It has been such a long time. I am so excited that you're all here, and I see that there's people in the comments, so it's great to see you. Make sure you leave some questions in the comments if you want, and I will answer them while I go through it. So happy Friday. Today felt like spring. It was so fun to be outside. I went for my walk, got my steps in. I've been doing a little bit of work here and I'm just so excited. So let's see. Oh, we have people in the chat. Hi, Dawn. It's nice to see you. Hi, Melanie. Dawn says that she regrets not being able to join the knit along that I am doing right now called A Mother's Hug. So I'm sorry you're not with us this time, but that's okay. There's other times. So let me know if you're here via YouTube, if you're here via Facebook, or if you're here via Instagram, because right now I am live on all three platforms and I am so excited. I can't, it has been a minute, Melanie. So let's talk about everything. Over Christmas, I had done Vlogmas and I got really sick. So I wasn't able to continue doing Vlogmas, but, and then, life happens, right? When you're used to not doing something, and then when you try to do it again, it just feels like such a slog, to get started. And so I say, which I've learned in these last couple of weeks, is just get started. It doesn't matter if you stink at it. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like doing it. Once you start doing it, you'll feel better. And so that's what we're doing with Live now. And I'm so thrilled to be here. I have been, for the most part, doing stuff that I can't show you. Sorry. But I have a lot of finished objects to show you. I have a lot of finished spinning to show you. And I'm just so thrilled to be back. So leave me a comment. I would love to hear what you're working on. And I do have a couple announcements. The first one is there are, I think, 3 spots left for the knit, Knit North Carolina, which I am the featured teacher there. It is going to be so much fun. It is coming up faster than you can imagine. It's in April 11th. And I can't wait. I just can't wait to do that. So any links will be in the description box below. So also, I am teaching the Knit to Fit, very popular Knit to Fit class, and also the Fabulous Finishing class at North Fork Fiber Arts on Long Island next Saturday. So if you don't have St. Patrick's Day parade to go to, or you don't have a party to go to, then come join me there. You can you can find them on Instagram at North Shore Fiber Arts. Also, send me a private message or send me any kind of message if you want a little bit more information. I'm happy to answer that for you. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, hi, Carolyn. It's nice to see you too. I'm excited that you're here. Friday at 5 o'clock, I thought to myself, is that too late to go live? But this will be recorded. So I'm really, really excited about that. Let's talk about what I've finished. How about that? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about the quilted pullover. And I actually was able to, One More Row Woodstock in Georgia, they are having a knit along with the pullover, and they actually zoomed me in on their first meeting. It was so much fun to chat and talk about it. This is the one from this year's Advent, and it was the actual colors are from Vita Lifestyle. It was her advent calendar. And then the collar, cuffs, and bottom trim I did in a kind of espresso. And so I love the color combination. I wear it a ton, but it's still hanging there from when I was doing the live. I had the other one on and then I had that one on. So that has been, it's been incredible. And actually what they did was you came in for the first time and you swapped out, they wound up all these fingering weight. You could donate fingering weight and they wound them up in 20-gram hanks, actually you could start using them right away. And they had a pizza party, and you got to pick. It was so cool. You got to pick the palette that you wanted, and then you bought the yarn there for the collar, cuffs, and trim. So I would love to say thank you so much to One More Row, Gabby and Maria, and for supporting me as a designer, and for choosing the quilted pullover as your knit along for your spring knit along. So let's see. Also going on right now is a mother's hug. That is for this piece. In my patterns, I really like to do 2 different versions, right? So in Bloom, there was the short sleeve version, the long sleeve or 3/4 sleeve version, and then there was it was a pullover and a cardigan, all in the same pattern. I don't know why I do that. I guess because I like options when I'm knitting a pattern, and so I like to have the options in my pattern. So here is what we're working on now. This is actually, and we call it a workshop, but it really is, no, we call it a knit along. It really is a workshop. So it really is a class. And you learn all different things. If you've been in one of my classes, hey Sue, if you've been in one of my classes, let me know in the comments which one you were in and how much you liked it. And if I love constructive criticism as well. If there are things that you want me to cover or want me to know how to make things better, I'm happy to do that too. So this is the V-neck version. So there's 2 versions. The first version has a turtleneck, and everything's the same except it's a turtleneck. And then for those of us who turtlenecks aren't, I don't really like them very much, there is a V-neck version. So it is just the prettiest thing here. It's a very simple shape and style, but it has this really pretty lace that travels up the side. And you have these cute little ties so that it goes on really, really nicely. Oh, don't want to mess up the bun. So here it is. Let me get my arms in the V-neck version. Stand up for you. So here it is. So you can see that you put your arm in here. These are ties that you put on. I just love it. And so the knit along is still going on right now. We just had our second show last night, our second Zoom. But if you would like to join, you are welcome to join. Everything is recorded, and there is a private Facebook group that you can go into and ask questions. We have, since this is called a mother's hug, we have, little prompts like what last night was. What was the favorite thing your mother made for dinner? Mine was eggplant parmesan. And just really, really fun things. And it's with me and Tabitha, and it's just been incredible. Well, I knew I was going to mess up my hair. I wasn't going to do it, but so here it is. The pattern will be available for sale after the knit along is over. the knit along finishes on March 28th. So it would be, it'll be available on March 29th via Ravelry and my website. So right now, if you wanted to join for the last two Zooms live, you're welcome to, or you can watch them on replay in the Facebook group. So if you wanted to join, again, it's in the description. Okay. So when I was sick, oh, hi, Joyce. Hi, Erin. Oh, it's so nice to see everybody. Oh, Joyce put her cat down today. Oh, my heart is hugging your hurt. I'm so sorry about that. That's awful. Very, very sorry about that. So when I was sick over the Christmas time, the only thing I really had, I don't know, I guess the only thing I really, wait, before I talk about that, I want to show you that I'm making another one. This is a mother's hug. But the cool thing is that working with, oh, geez, I just dropped this. I dropped some stitches. Don't worry. Just put them back on. Take a breath, put them back on. There's nothing to fear. So I'm so lucky having Tabitha because, you know, she makes yarn and she made this yarn for me. She asked me what, you know, what I was looking for. And really this time it was a color. It wasn't necessarily like, you know, what was in the yarn. And she came up with this color. I was going for like, you know, Burberry camel color. And this is the color that she came up with. And so here I have started it. This is the back. And so I am almost finished with the back, and then, you know, everything else I'll have done. So it's a beautiful color. We actually named it Bobby, which is what my siblings, and their children, that's what they called my mother. My mother's name was Gail, but her grandmother name was Bobby. Everybody called her Bobby. So this is the Bobby colorway. Isn't it so pretty? Just like her. If you notice, my live stream looks a little bit different. I have I have something called StreamYard, which I'm really excited about, which means if you're in my Facebook group or my Facebook page, Knit a Rainbow, if you're on Instagram Live, or if you are here on YouTube, it's so exciting. I can talk to more people, which is, you know, about knitting that I love, which is exactly what I want to do. So I'm really thrilled about it. I wish I would have prepared a little bit better. I had some pictures, you know, that I'll be able to show pictures of me wearing things, which will then, if you have questions about fit and things like that, we can ask those questions. But for the people that are here live, if you have questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. So I do have a couple questions that people have asked in whether it was in any of the groups. So I do have those questions to answer in a little bit. But if you're here and you have a question, please pop it in the chat and I'm happy to answer those. Okay, now I'm going to talk about spinning. And the reason why I'm going to talk about spinning is that the next two projects, my next finished objects, have to do with yarn that I actually spun. So excited. Okay. So I didn't really have the bandwidth in my brain when I was sick over Christmas to knit or design or think of numbers or and stuff like that. So what I did was I just spun yarn like crazy. And it started with, you know, we had the advents, right? The yarn advents, but there was a fiber advent from Primrose, and I just so happen to have it right next to me. And I did go over it a little bit during my Vlogmas-ish 2023. But when you opened it, which it was in this like stunning box, there was this key here. And in the key, all these photos were done by Kelsey of Primrose. She made these, which is like incredible in and of itself. And then she dyed yarn or dyed fiber that went with these. And let me just show you my box, which sounds naughty, but look at the fibers in here. So I just spun, and this is the first row. I just spun my heart's content. Look at all these beautiful yarns I have. Aren't they incredible? So did you see me pause there? Like that could be a thumbnail for YouTube. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this yarn. I'm going to keep it in this lovely box and I'm going to enjoy it. But then because those were so popular, Kelsey started offering fiber on her website. Of course, I had to purchase that right up. And this is, look. So this is Gray Corriedale, and this was her color Arcade. I don't know if it's available now or not because I spun this a while ago. Isn't it great? I love it. So yeah. I ended up with 366 yards. It's a sport weight-ish. You know, when I get excited, my nose kind of tickles. So you'll notice I'm like, I'm so excited. All right. And the last thing in the spinning, have any of you that are spinners seen Wee Chickadee's stuff? First of all, her packaging. Look at her sweet little tag with your name on it. Thank you, Kimberly. Enjoy and have a happy day. And if I was great in StreamYard, which I will get better, I would show you what the fiber looked like before I spun it. And the fiber is called Fairy Ring. Oh, do you know what I just watched? The Hobbit series, or no, Lord of the Rings series. I'm going to watch the Hobbit series. I actually really enjoyed them. I know I'm a little late to the boat there, but I really had fun. So this is Polworth wool, and it's called Fairy Ring. Ready? Look at how pretty it would look with denim. Ooh. So this one, yes, Erin, I am going to bring you over to the spinning side. I am. This ended up being 448 yards in 4 ounces. It is light as a feather, and it also is a sport weight-ish. More of a fingering sport weight. So I would be able to, if I had a pattern that was fingering weight or I had a pattern that was sport weight, I could use this in either. Oh, isn't it pretty? My goodness, I love it. Okay. So, speaking of spinning yarn, I have 2 projects that I have used my hand spun yarn. The first one, now I met this this designer at Cake Palooza before Rhinebeck 2023. I talked about her shawl instantly. I knew it was crochet and I loved it. And let me show it to you here. It's called You Are Strong or So Strong or something like that. There's a link to it. Wait till you see how cool this is. Ready? Link to the shawl pattern is in the description. And also, full disclosure, Beth of Fig and Filament, she has priced her patterns where you can have an affiliate link. So anybody that purchases this, in full disclosure, I do get a kickback. So here it is. The thing that I love about it, and I wish I could get the pictures up, is that it does not fall off your shoulders. It's kind of, it's the way that you crochet it, this is crocheted, the way you crochet it with two colors, there's no weaving in of a million debillion ends, right? And so this is one half. I'm going to have to stand up. It's that big. This is one half. Oh, and it comes in 3 different sizes. One half and then the other half. So it looks like when you hold it up, real life, when you hold it up, it looks like it looks like a butterfly. Isn't it cool? Oh, I just love it. It took no time at all, but the lighter color is my hand spun. And I did, for the first time ever, a traditional 3-ply. Here is, and I have a boatload of it. And this yarn is from Wound Up Fiber Arts on Instagram. She is, I have so much of her stuff, but check it out. Yay. So I have plenty left. Maybe I'll give it away. Maybe I'll give it away as a prize during the knit along. How about that? That sounds like cool. Yay. Okay. So that is this shawl, which I love. I'm going to be posting model shots on my Instagram, and I will be updating my Ravelry when I have, 10 more hours in the day, which I wish I did. The other one, and some of you saw me spinning this in a couple of my Instagram reels, is this yarn, which is from Fossil Fibers, and this is it was called Sweater Weather. And so here is the yarn that I made. It's a 2-ply. And here is the finished shawl. Now, I forgot to look up what it is, so I will definitely put it in the show notes. But I saw on Knitty, of all places, I haven't been on Knitty in years, and it's all free. So the pattern is free, but look at this. So let me stop that banner. So I absolutely love the way this looks. Isn't it cool? In fact, the sun is going down here, so it is getting a little chilly. But here you go. So it was knit there. It was charted. So there were 3 different charts, and it's knit on the bias, which means there was no finishing on the ends. You just knit. You didn't have to like slip one or do anything like that. And the pattern was so easy to memorize and such a joy to knit. So you started down here at the point, and then you knit across, it grew and grew and grew until it got to here. And then this was the way that you knit it. And it just shows your hand spun so beautifully. The designer that wrote this pattern designed it specifically for hand spun, but it would look gorgeous in any kind of yarn, any kind of self-striping yarn, or an assigned pooling yarn, or in white. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous shawl. It's so much fun. Oh, thank you. Hi, Mary Jane. It's so fun. The pattern shows off. Yes, it doesn't it? It's just, and of course, because the designer was like, I had this hand spun, I didn't know what to do with it. And I'm not really a shawl girl, but let me tell you, I've been knitting a lot of shawls lately. Hi, Ruth, it's nice to see you. So here we go. And I have a little bit left. I think that this would be really, really fun color work on a sweater. And I'll have to see how many yards I have left. I don't know, but and in hindsight, if I wasn't so you know, I needed to have it done because I wanted to see what it looked like blocked. Impatient is the word. I should have knit all of this, right? But this baby is so long. I mean, I can wrap it around. It's really long, which is great. But it's not deep. So it's really fun. Let me show you guys how I like to wear shawls like this. So I'm going to take the halfway mark, right? So here's the halfway, and that's going to go right in the center here. And I'm going to cross it over in the back. And look, I still have a ton. So what I'm going to do is pull this out and around like this. Now I can leave it like this. I love that. You can also put a little tie in it like this, but you can also do something kind of funky where you pull this through. But look, so I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to cross it, and I'm going to pull one end through this way, and I'm going to put one end through the opposite way. And so now you have this like really pretty pretzel. Because it's so long, see, can't even see it. But you have this like really cool like pretzel-y thing. So if you had like a really cute jacket, or if it were raining, or if you wanted to just keep your neck warm, that's a really cool way. I like the way that looks. But I'm going to go back right to here, and I'm just going to fan this out around my shoulders because I'm getting a little chilly here. See? So there's lots of different ways that you can play with shawls, and you can get like really pretty shawl pins. That would be really, really fun. I forget the name, friends. I'll put it in the show notes. But it is on Knitty. But oh my gosh, I'll put it in there. So let's see. So those are the finished objects and finished yarn that I have been working on. There are a couple patterns or designs that I have going on right now, and I can't show you. Drat. So I hope that this is good. I do forget the name. Maybe I should. All right, let me see. Let me see the name of it. I don't know. I don't want to take the time now because, you know, I don't want to waste your time. Okay, so I did make a purchase. Wound Up Fiber Arts, I love her stuff. And usually from her, I buy her merino silk superwash. And I love the way that feels. And once I have something knit up, you know, it's like very, you know, now spring and summer because it has that that silk and that nylon in it. So it feels cooler. So I was looking on her site, and I noticed that she has some other fibers. And who am I? Who am I? Who am I to not purchase them? But this is her Falkland comb top, and this is the color Canyon. And so let's open it up because, of course, I bought two. I don't know why I do that. This is 4 ounces, right? It doesn't say, but it's probably close to 4 ounces. So this would get me, you know, just this is 4 ounces spun up. So, you know, it would, depending on how thick or thin that I spin it, like, you know, it's going to give me a lot, but I had to get 2. It's just the way oh, look, it kind of reminds me of the quilted pullover. But you know, I love navy blue. So it had some navy blues. Ooh, look at it. And some orange, yellow. Aren't these pretty? So of course this is going to be like for fall because it's Falkland. Falkland, it's soft, but it's not like merino. And it's more of a stickier wool, right? So picture, like like Brooklyn tweeds yarn, that shelter, like that's kind of like what the finished yarn is going to be, not like super de duper soft. Okay, let's check your comments. Hello, Catherine. Catherine is my sister for all of you. She is not a knitter or a crocheter. She is just awesome. My awesome sister. All right. So here's what I'm working on now. And this is crazy. On Wednesday, I got a call from our church, and we are right now without a priest. So we're going through that whole process. And those of you that have been in a process, that, people can leave the church. Not a lot of people around here are really, going to church, where when I was younger, it was like, the center of a lot of things. But there are 2 families that are having their babies baptized in our church. And so the secretary called me on Wednesday. Yes, 2 days ago, and was like, yes, we're having these 2 baptisms, and we were wondering if you could make she said, like a hat or a sweater, booties, as a gift. And of course I'm like, oh my God, it has to be a blanket, right? Because go big or go home, right? So I said, okay, when is it? And I'll stick it into my schedule. Sunday, as in day after tomorrow. So it's only one, thank goodness. And then I have 2 weeks to get the other one done. So it's for a little boy. Right, Ruth Ann? It's tough. It is tough. Oh, my sister says she's my biggest fan. I just love you, Catherine. I wouldn't know what I would do without you. I really don't. So I hopped my fanny over to Michael's because I don't know this family, and I want to make sure that the mom would be able to would be able to put it in the washer and the dryer, right? Because obviously this baby is knit worthy, but I don't know them. and when I was a mom myself and I was a knitter, I didn't want things that I had to hand wash. Who has time for that? I mean, I do now, but back then I probably did too with one baby, whatever. Okay. So what I did, and it's, it right now it looks like a blob, but I put the center, and I got Karen Simply Soft because that was the only white yarn that they had there. And I put that up on my knitting machine, and I knit a rectangle. Okay. And then, hi, Kathy. Thank you for saying you love my podcast. I appreciate that. So I put it up on my knitting machine. So, and how do I know how big to make it? Well, I did a gauge swatch, friends. Those of you in my knitting workshops, you're going to love that I did that. So I knit a gauge swatch, and I laundered it the way that it's going to be laundered. So I tossed that baby in with the whites and put it in the dryer, and then I was able to measure it. And so I measured how many stitches and how many rows, and then I was able to get that number, which it turned out to be 105 stitches and 154 rows, which was going to give me the size that I needed. And then I took it off the machine and I put it on my knitting needles, and I'm knitting a border. And the border that I'm knitting right now is moss stitch. So I counted how many stitches. I picked up stitches all the way around, and I counted how many, and it's close to 500. But each round, because now I'm knitting in the round, each round, it takes me 18 minutes to do one round. And so far I have done 10 rounds. I have 2 more to do. This is going to be done tonight, come what may. But it's going to be really pretty. So you can kind of see here, which some of you might not know how to do this. I put it on a size 7 needle, and I only had size 24 inch. That's my go-to size, 24 inch circular needle. And it was so tight because there were 500 stitches. So what I did was I put them on 2 needles. I am increasing in the corners. Yes, yes, Erin, I'm increasing in the corners every other round, 2 in each. So here you can see is the pretty moss stitch. Isn't it pretty? I'm almost done. And then, because of course, when I was in the shower, which is where all of my greatest content comes, I thought to myself, you know, it would be great, instead of binding off, I'm going to do with my crochet hook a picot edge. And the reason why I want to do that is then there will be 3 different patterns in the blanket for the baby. And, you know, it is his baptism. So the number 3 is really important. And I've already thought of a story to write for this little baby Dylan that I've never met, but it has to do with, you know, coming into the community and, you know, welcoming him home. And it's just, you know, I'm just excited about it. I think what's going to happen, if the parents allow me, I'm going to video, you know, it'll be in another podcast where, you know, you'll be able to read what I'm writing for him, which I'm just going to say, those shower speeches that come to you, do you guys get those? Mine are epic, and I'm just going to start sending them out into the universe. So here it is. But what I wanted to show you is you can see that half of it is on, I'm dropping stitches. Now, don't worry when you drop a stitch, you just pick it right back up again. I'm going to have to work on that. But you can see that half is on this needle, which I'm just dropping stitches like it's my job. And then the other half is on another needle. And so I think I'm going to do some sort of, which is all falling off. I think I'm going to do some sort of tutorial on how to do that when you have a bunch of stitches. Hopefully I don't have to cut into the 3rd skein, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to. So that's what's going on. Oh, I have so many people sending me messages. You've always called Afghans hugs. Oh, thanks, Melanie. Yeah, the workshop that's going on now with my friend Tabitha on Long Island Yarn and Farm, that's called a mother's hug, and it came out of so Tabitha and I came back together when she had posted that we were friends a while ago and did some collaborating together. And then, you know, life happened and we didn't really talk to each other and I was editing and chiefing and she was doing her thing. And then I saw on Instagram that her mom had passed away and my mom had passed away. So it hit me. So I contacted her. Anyway, we get back together and we're starting to do these wonderful knit alongs which really are workshop classes. And so after the first one, she said to me, you know, this was my mom's favorite thing. And would you design it? And so this year is that one. And that's why it's called A Mother's Hug, because I'm bringing it around, Melanie. I promise I'm bringing it around. When I was young, my grandmother, who was a knitter and crocheter, my mother's mother, passed away when I had just turned 9. And she had things made, which these colors, I don't know, Catherine, if you're still on here, doesn't this remind you of Baba? But so I come home from school and, you know, when I had a bad day or, you know, somebody made fun of me, which, you know, happens, my mother would say, do you need a hug from Baba? And she would go into the blanket chest and she would pull out something that my grandmother had made and she would wrap us up in it. And I did feel her in there, you know, there's good juju in there, right? Because mostly when we're knitting or crafting or crocheting or spinning or weaving or tatting or embroidering, we're in that space of of creating and feeling great and feeling good and putting happy thoughts, or we're sad and we're doing something that brings us joy. So all that great energy is in the fabric, right? I mean, I don't know Dylan, but I can't tell you that how much I've thought about him and his family and his life and all the good thoughts that I want for him to have a happy, wonderful, healthy life that I'm putting into the blanket. So yes, I totally get that, Melanie. That's why it's the piece is called A Mother's Hug, because it's all about Tabitha's mom and her. And to take it a step further, the turtleneck version. So the lace on here is called arrow lace. And then there is a really pretty stitch on the turtleneck, which is called farmer's rib. And Tabitha's mother was of American Indian descent. And so it's bringing her mother with the arrow lace and Tabitha with the farmer's rib together in one piece in a hug. And that's the whole story. So again, I mean, if you want to join us, we're halfway through, but all the information is there. We meet next Thursday, and then there is a week break, so you can catch up if you want. And then the final week is March 28th. But I will tell you, there is no being left behind, because all of the information is still up there. It's still in the Facebook group. So wherever you are in what you're doing is it's the exact right place that you should be, right? Knitting is supposed to bring us joy and comfort and happiness. And when it doesn't, when you put all these rules on yourself that you have to get things done that way, it ruins it, right? Like it ruins what it's intended for. And that brings me to talking about why I come on my social media platforms and why I'm so passionate about teaching you how to make your garments fit, how to learn new techniques. I'm so passionate about it because there have been so many times in my life where I felt horrible and I felt lost, and knitting was that, and crochet was that friend that it didn't matter how long it had been since I had picked her up, but she was there for me and she made me feel good. So I'm so passionate about helping all of you, whether it be these online tutorials or whether it is one-on-one coaching, which you can sign up for with me, or whether it is something new that's coming. I'm so excited about it. Whether it's doing that, my purpose in this is so that you all have that tool that I had, that makes me feel great, that gets me out of bed in the morning, that scratches that creative itch that we all really do have. Some people are creative in the kitchen. Some people are creative, with what they wear, or, how they, decorate a house. And some people are creative with the yarns that they choose, and the things that they decide to make. And so, okay, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Hi, Susan. It's nice to see you. So Susan's coming from Facebook. A lot of you are coming from, hello, from YouTube. Couldn't think of it. I'm not seeing anybody from Instagram, but I think because I have to toggle over to Instagram to see your comments. And I'm afraid if I go over there that I'm going to lose you. I'm so new at this StreamYard thing, but I tell you, I really love it. We just have a couple more minutes. Does anybody have the pattern? Does anybody have any questions that you have for me? Oh, hey, it's you. Thank you for helping me save my sweater neckline. So much better and wearable. That is so great. And that's why, I love the space of social media when it's used for kindness and good. That's why I love social media. I mean, I wouldn't know half of these people I wouldn't know 88% of you, but I feel like I do know you because we connect through social media and with the workshops that I do and with the one-on-one coaching that I have. I really do feel like even though I'm not in a knit shop, every day like I used to, I still get to connect with with the community that I love. Oh, I'm so glad. I loved the colors that you picked for that sweater, by the way. Woo! All right. Do we have anything else? I think I'm going to end um, this first live that I've done all three platforms. So I'm thrilled. I can't wait to do this again. I'm not going to wait till next Friday. I'll tell you, faux show. But if you, again, I love that you are here. Thank you for being here. Please leave me a message of anything. If you have something that that someone has made for you that you cherish, put that in the comments. I love to read, and I answer every single one. So let me know if that is something that you love. Oh, I have lots of comments. I love this. There's a question on Instagram, Erin. I have no idea. If the poncho measures 5 inches shorter than 42.5 inches, will it make a big difference, or should I go up a needle? So 42.5 inches is the width across. So what I would do is take your tape measure and put it from here across over here, Sue, and see if where it's going to lay is what you would like. Now there are two different options here when we're talking about gauge. And friends, I'm talking about it's a poncho. So it's more a Ruana, but for your visual, there's a front and a back. They're both the same size. And so when you're talking about gauge for something like that, you have a little bit more leeway. What I would suggest going up a needle size, Sue, so that you can, and make sure you launder it, so that you can see if you like that fabric. So let's say you tried with the needle that's in the pattern, which is a size 8, and you're going to lose 5 inches. But then you try a 9 and you have row gauge, but your stitch gauge is still, it would be off only a little bit more. Also, and I get this question a lot, is that gauge is a liar a little bit. All right, I'll admit it. It is a liar. But what my purpose for you getting gauge for is twofold. One, I want to make sure that you have enough yarn for your garment, especially when you're working with something like this and the yarn that we have. The way that Long Island Yarn and Farm and the way she has this beautiful yarn is once it's gone, it's gone. So you have to kind of hop on it. So the getting gauge or close to gauge is important so that you know that you have enough yarn, because when I have a gauge swatch and I am calculating for different sizes, or even for just if it's a one size, it's a mathematical number. It's not just a number that I pull out. It is a mathematical number. So to make sure that you have enough yarn. And the second thing, not so much for a mother's hug, but for a sweater, so that you have a sweater that's going to fit you properly. That's why my knit to fit class is so fun to take, because I show you how to change some patterns. I call it Franken knitting. And, you can take bits and pieces from parts. Oh, the knit kit. Oh, yes. Oh, I love you, girl. I miss you. New York Sunshine says the kits, the knit-alongs are great. You highly, I think that's Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Is the crochet shawl a beginner shawl? I wouldn't say it's a beginner shawl, but the instructions are very clear. They're wonderful. And here's a little plug. If you don't understand it, I do have one-on-one coaching that I would help you through it. And that you can get on my website. You can look at those over there. Sue, I hope that helped. Long story short, I would go up a needle size and I would see what that is. And if you like the fabric of it. Okay. Can you tell me again about the shawl you're wearing, please? Oh, hi, Rose. The shawl that I'm wearing right now, I hand spun the yarn and then I followed a pattern on nitty.com. Rose, I apologize. I do not know the name of it, but I promise I will, when I post, I have glamour shots that I took today. And so I am going to post on Instagram later and it'll have all the details there. The pattern for the crochet shawl is, it's in the description box below, Maria. Not Maria, Michelle. I knew it was an M. Okay, friends, I just wanted to let you know that I am thrilled to be back live. It's one of my favorite things to do. And, you know, I kind of thought, well, I have to do what everyone else is doing on Instagram. But you know what happens? What happens is, when you try to be like everybody else, your authentic self doesn't come through. And I think I knew that deep down and I was trying to do something that I'm not. I'm still going to post tutorials and things like that. But I really, really, really love being live because I feel like I'm chatting with all of you. And then once it's done, it's up and I don't have to do any editing. And that's also a plus. So just know that you fill me up as much as hopefully I fill you up. And I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you the next time. Bye.